I am back. I put down some oatmeal and I have a little bit of baby powder here and a little bit of baby powder there. It's not a matter of, as long as they look like equal piles, that's enough for me because I very generously laid a very delicate layer of baby powder down, less than I did for the Kirby and the Maytag, and much more spread out and like a light dusting compared to piles. Because these are clean air machines, I don't really know as to how well they will perform. I'm hoping that they do a good job. We'll try, a one pass and see what they do, and then we can try multiple passes and see if they can eventually pick something up. Now, one thing that I did want to say, and I know this from just owning both of these, the Miele power nozzle is much quieter, of course, than the Riccar. Riccars are pretty noisy, but not as badly as videos depict them to be, because I imagine the Miele to be a lot louder than I had gotten. But that's because they use those test mats, and it increases the sound and agitation, and it's almost like show business. But I will definitely say that the Miele does not beat the carpet as noticeably as the Simplicity does. Both are excellent and they clean probably equally because they're both great power nozzles. I personally feel that they're two of the best created power nozzles out there in terms of cleaning. I'm not talking reliability because they both have their flaws. This is probably the most complained about power nozzle from Miele. But the Miele tends to really clamp down on the carpet, whereas the Simplicity rides across the top and it just creates more vibration. But I will say that I feel that this does a better job than the S7 in terms of agitation and grooming. So I will recline my Miele and turn the power on. It's on maximum power. I've never changed the bag in the Simplicity, and this is a relatively new bag in the Miele, and I have no idea how this is going to turn out because I've never done an under the carpet test with a canister before. So great, first pass picked everything up except for that little bit right there. Now, to add, it did an excellent job, by the way. I'm just going over everything just for extra measure, because there are a couple little pieces here and there. And this isn't like a bait, even though I did say in my last video that, you know, most of the people are disliking my video probably don't even own any of these machines. And of course I got a couple comments from people saying, well, I own this machine. I'm not saying that you don't own it, but that's also just word of mouth. That's just you verbally saying that you do. Nobody can actually prove unless you do a video of it, and it could still not be yours. It could still be someone else's, because people do tend to do relatives vacuum cleaner videos and stuff like that. So the point I'm trying to make is this is almost like I'm asking for it. Because one of the biggest things of all time is Miele versus Taconi. And there are some people who absolutely hate both of these. Come on. I got this kinked. There. Because it's backwards. And it is a pretty heavy hose. But I do like using this one a lot. Anyway, there are a lot of people who absolutely adore Miele's because they're German fanatics, and honestly, just because I love the Japanese does not mean that I'm going to own a Toyota. I don't own a Toyota. So I did have a Subaru though, but not because of any specific cultural bias or anything, and I just think that they're amazing people or anything like that. Both of these machines have their flaws. They're vacuum cleaners. They're not sports cars. They're not luxury vehicles or anything like that, though a lot of us tend to think that way at times, especially being in this sort of, you know, passion or collector sort of difference compared to some other people. But also, I'm not trying to start fights or anything on YouTube, but I also know that this is something that a lot of people want to watch. I'm very appreciative towards the people who just have something nice to say or share their opinion lightly or something like that. But you get the people who just like hide in the shadows, dislike your video just because they don't agree with your opinion, which very rarely do I have oh, this is the clear winner. It happens sometimes, but I back it up with proof, and because some people were hoping to get the different outcome of the video and they didn't get it, a lot of them are butthurt about it. So you're kind of asking for it when you post videos like this, to Coney versus Miele sort of thing. And then you get some people who think that they're supreme over everybody else and they're experts even though they only own like 5 vacuums, but they touch a vacuum and they've tried all these, but they're really just using other people's vacuum cleaners. And I don't feel that that's the same way. You're going to have a bias, especially if you happen to use a vacuum or see a vacuum brand more regularly and you have a passion for that vacuum for some sort of reason. Because I've had people comment on my videos before and have said something like that this is the clear winner, and they think that they are the end-all be-all, and this is purely for entertainment. People take it so seriously, and they get so arrogant with their comments and their content. And I'm trying to tread lightly because I'm not trying to be specific, but anyway, back to the show. So I have this on maximum power as well. You can see there is a little movement. It left a couple pieces, more than the Miele did, but it's picking them all up on the backwards pass. Uh-oh. So I'm just doing the quick cleanup of everything just to be super sure. Ooh. Now, I know where those came from, and they came from this little edge right there. They get stuck up underneath this steel plate right here. So that's kind of what happened. The Miele doesn't have that problem because it's more recessed. But how often are you vacuuming up oatmeal? So, in a way, this is a true... There was a little piece that I just had to run over that the Miele also left. So since this is on, I'm going to bring her up here on full suction. It's on the lowest setting. I haven't changed the height. That one's also on extra low. So again, maximum suction. There's the powder. We're going to do one pass. And see what it did. Oops, that's record rewind. So there's our one pass and we'll see. So it didn't really do anything, unfortunately. And I kind of have low hopes that it will, either of these machines, not just the Miele, that they will be able to pick anything up. It almost looks like it just kind of disturbed it from running it over. So here's our simplicity side, and we'll see what this is able to do. Now, of course, under the carpet tests are very entertaining, but it doesn't really mean that one vacuum cleans better than the other, because we're talking about unrealistic things that nobody has a goal to be keeping clean anyway. Nobody says, I want a vacuum that's going to be able to pull the dirt through the other side of the carpet that I don't even see. It is sort of cool, but that doesn't mean anything, because it could just barely not have enough power to pull it through the carpet. It means what you're running over with your vacuum is thoroughly cleaned if it can pull through the back of the carpet, but there are just as good of vacuums out there on the market that just can't pull it through the carpet, but they're getting everything on the other side. So think of it that way. Uh-oh. Maybe I didn't fix this. So, it stopped there for a second, but beyond the spot, maybe I will end up having to trade this in. So again, kind of just disturbed the baby powder, and that stopped right here, and the powder starts here, as you can see. It doesn't start any earlier than about this spot. So, unfortunately, neither of these machines, it kind of proves that clean air vacuums can't really pull up that kind of dirt. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over it 8 times like I traditionally would. Hopefully this power nozzle doesn't give me any grief. 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, damn it, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll do just a really quick pass like that because it turned off halfway through that one pass. So it did pick up some. It did. There's still a little bit left, but I believe that that's because what it did disturb that first time, it kind of compacted down. So we'll keep that in mind, and we'll go back over to the miele, and we'll see what the miele can do. It may do just as good, and maybe these two machines are equal. Who knows? But I tell you what, these little mieles, this is on maximum suction, by the way. Again, that was on the extra low setting. This is on the low. 1, 2, 3. Look at those clean lines. 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, 8. So let's see if the miele was able to do anything extraordinary. So I'll be honest, you can't really see a whole lot there in the middle, but the miele kind of did the same thing but over here on this side. So I would say that it's a tie. Both machines, quite honestly, are great vacuums. You can try and say, well, the miele should win because it's a smaller vacuum. Again, it doesn't matter. The smaller vacuum just means it takes smaller bags. It doesn't have onboard tool storage. You don't get the direct connect. You don't have the digital control even mounted on the vacuum itself. It's a shorter cord, and it's got 3 wheels instead of the 4. What are all of those things? Are they cleaning performance related, or are they features? They're features, which is what you pay extra for. So pretty much everything internal as well as the external beyond that direct connect, and of course the look of the hose, or the handle I mean on the hose. But the wand, the power nozzle, the motor inside of it, everything is the same. I think it may not be a completely sealed system, which honestly is going to make little to no difference on a miele. The simplicity, it did a pretty good job. They both did. Like I said, they both did. To be completely honest with you, I think these power nozzles are a match. Of course, there's going to be naysayers and people who say that they're not, but like, remember, and for those of you who don't watch the video to the end, you won't hear me say this, but shame on you. Don't comment on the video if you didn't watch the whole thing, because like I said, I'm not biased towards either of these vacuums. They're both excellent. They both do a great job, and I'm sorry for those of you who are hoping for a different outcome, like oh, the simplicity was the better one because you favor simplicity. It's not a bandwagon thing. So I appreciate both these vacuums for what they are, and that's why I have them. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.